I'm in love! I'm in love! Woohoo! Yippee! Ah! Xenu? I do my own stuff! Welcome to the Cruising Altitude Podcast, a podcast dedicated... Even when I write it down, I mess it up. A podcast dedicated entirely to the filmography of Tom Cruise. I'm your host, Blake, but you may also know me as Smokey's Videos, and this is my lovely co-host, Saul.
Hello.
And I don't know if you realize this, but this is a very special episode of our podcast. Do you know why?
We're out of the 83 movies?
This is yeah, that's true. That's we're moving forward in time, but it's actually because today, wink, is July 3rd, which is Tom Cruise's 57th birthday.
Nice.
That's why that giant cake is over there in the corner.
Oh, that's what that's for.
Yeah. If you hear like banging or something coming from inside, just ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one in there. Happy birthday, Mr. Thomas Cruise Mapother IV. Here's to another 57.
What would that be? 114?
I hope so. Hey, he is a Scientologist. He should be able to live that long.
Yeah.
Xenu's gonna prolong his life. But yeah. Everybody go wish Tom Cruise a happy birthday on Twitter. Yay! And then I'll add those like party, like, what are those called? The little paper things that shoot out when you blow on them.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
I don't even, do these even have a name? Are you ready to get into the 4 Cruise fun facts?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God you said yes. I don't know what you would have done if you said no. This one surprised me. Tom Cruise originally agreed to provide the voice for Captain Planet in the Captain Planet TV show.
Huh.
But he backed out at the last second for an unknown reason. Spooky. That would have been... Oh, just imagine if he had been Captain Planet. Then we could have watched every single episode.
Oh, God.
What am I saying? He'll never do television.
He hasn't.
He directed that one TV show that we talked about last... Yeah.
Have you ever seen Captain Planet?
I've seen parts of it, and I've seen that College Humor Don Cheadle parody. But no, I don't think I've ever watched the actual show.
Yeah. I only found out about it as not a kid. I didn't even know what it was.
I feel like I heard about it as a kid, and I just from the fringes of pop culture and parodies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a few years ago, around the time that the Power Rangers film came out, they were talking about having a Captain Planet film.
Oh yeah, where I think it was going to be serious.
Yeah. Dark and gritty reboot. Oh man. Turning people into trees. Fun fact number 2. I feel like I've done this one before, maybe not. He portrays heroes in movies, but he became a real-life hero in 1998 when he saved a woman from being mugged in London, chasing the attackers away with his bodyguards.
In my head, I just see him pointing with his bodyguards.
Hand on his hip,
Yeah.
I was actually imagining him just full-on sprinting.
His bodyguards are like, what is he doing? Should we go after him?
Yeah, they weren't chasing after the mugger. They were trying to stop Tom from murdering them.
No, it's not worth it.
At age 10, Tom Cruise spent his savings on a motorcycle, which he fixed up before promptly crashing it between 2 cars. Fuck, how unprofessional. I can't believe your phone went off, Saul.
My bad.
My screen won't turn on. I mean, your screen won't turn on. One moment. I won't edit this out. Okay. The bike was a Yamaha, and he stored it in his basement while he worked on it.
Nice.
I feel like... I don't know if that really was necessary, that second sentence. In August 2017, a Twitter user suggested that Cruise wore a prosthetic butt in one of the Valkyrie scenes.
What?
Have you ever seen Valkyrie? It's like the World War II
is it
film about like it's like a plot to kill Hitler.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it. But I guess there's a scene where he shows his ass, and
it's-
someone thought it was a prosthetic ass.
Oh.
It's like he just wore like a big suit over his real butt. The tweet went viral, and the actor denied the accusation and commented, "I do my own mooning."
That's good.
All right, and that's all the Tom Cruise 4 fun facts. Let's get right on into the legend facts. What did you think of the title of this film?
When I was looking for it, it kept giving me different results, like legend and then legends. I'm like, which one's the real title? Because I'm pretty sure in the opening credits it said just legend.
Yeah, it says that in the trailer too, which is
Yeah.
funny because the trailer has Tim Curry doing the voiceover, and he's like, what does it say? He's like, "I am darkness," and then it cuts to the word legend.
Yeah,
I feel like darkness would have been a better title
yeah.
because what is it? The Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Did you notice the similarities between this and Legend of Zelda?
Oh, yeah. Now I do. So he's just Link is
He's
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Imagine a
Oh my god.
a Zelda movie.
With Tom Cruise, but it's made now.
Like, yeah,
it's like
this year,
Logan,
Tom
but
Cruise.
with Link and Zelda.
And he's supposed to be like 14. But yeah, the title doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's yeah, because they don't really talk about any legends at all.
The one line they say, it's like the unicorn apparently told Tom Cruise that he needs to find a champion,
Oh yeah,
and like
and Tom Cruise was like, "That's me."
he's like, I already know it's me.
Here's the I guess the description from IMDb. A young man must stop the Lord of Darkness from both destroying daylight and marrying the woman he loves.
Huh. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
on the nose.
Yeah. The poster says, "No good without evil. No love without hate. No innocence without lust." Lust is capitalized. "I am darkness."
I'm Batman. I can kind of see the whole like kind of no light without darkness kind of little thing they were doing that, but I don't think they played it off that well.
Yeah, no, it really only comes up when Tim Curry is
About to
screaming
die.
about it. Yeah, when he's about to get flung into space.
He's just a sore loser.
This was directed by Ridley Scott.
Really?
Uh-huh. If you don't know who Ridley Scott is, he directed films such as Blade Runner, Alien, Black Hawk Down, The Martian, Thelma and Louise, Prometheus, and The Terrible Alien Covenant.
That's really weird, because
I think, let's see. So I read that when he was beginning to work on Blade Runner, which is like heralded as one of his best films ever, it has like 17 different versions.
yeah.
He and like the writer or someone started working on this film. And I think that was 83, 85 they started working on it.
So they kind of worked this like during
Like this
the
has been in the
crunch.
works for years, basically, before it was actually made. It
Oh,
took, I
okay.
think, like 3 years to make.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's.
Do you want to hear what the budget was?
Let me guess. 73 million.
No,
Was it more?
it was lower.
Oh. I wanted to be like.
Oh man, if it was 73 million and it got the box office it did, oh boy. I don't think Ridley Scott would have ever worked again.
Oh, jeez. All right. Give me the budget.
$24.5 million.
Mm.
It made in a box office domestically $15.5 million with a worldwide of $23.5 million.
Not could have been worse.
It definitely could have been worse. It also could have been better.
Yeah.
This film was panned when it came out. It was people did not like it.
Yeah.
It was written by William Yortzberg.
Yortzberg. Yeah. I think that's how you say it.
Starring Mia Sara, Tim Curry, David Bennett, Alice Playten, and Tom Cruise. It is widely rumored to have been the source of inspiration for Shigeru Miyamoto's classic game series, The Legend of Zelda. I mean, there's a giant tree. There's the little
fairy.
Navi fairy. What's the name? Is that her name, Navi, or is
I think her name. Yeah.
Or is that from...
Navi is the fairy in Legend of Zelda, and then...
it's also the name from the blue cat people in Avatar.
Oh yeah. I think her name was Una.
Yeah, it was Una.
Una. Because there's only one of her.
Tom Cruise reportedly wasn't happy with the American cut of the film and wouldn't talk about the movie for years because of it. He very much encouraged fans to go with the director's cut.
Oh, so
yeah, there's 3 different cuts.
They deleted some scenes?
Yeah, they deleted a lot. The director's cut is like 150 something minutes. The American version is about 83.
What the fuck? I was gonna say, like,
which version did you watch?
Well, I must have watched the American version.
How long was it? Because the one I watched was almost 2 hours.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I think that was I'm pretty sure that was the director's cut.
Oh, damn. Because I'm like...
Did it end...
What?
How did it end with Tom running into the sunset?
Yeah,
I think that was the director's cut, because that's the one I watched too.
What? That didn't feel like it, because I feel like there was like so much missing. Like it feels like they cut a lot, even on that one.
Oh man, there's a lot they wanted to do with the script. It just did not happen.
Yeah, it did feel like they didn't explain a whole lot.
No, it's like Ridley Scott wanted to make his own Lord of the Rings films, but
yeah,
in one movie.
I genuinely think like if they had been able to make multiple ones to first explain the whole world, like, kind of build up any sense of story.
Not you don't want like 15 minutes of a girl frolicking in the forest
and then boom, plot.
Let's see. It took 5.5 hours to get Tim Curry's makeup on because his entire body was encased in it. It's good looking makeup.
Yeah, most of it, like, except for the horns.
Really?
I
thought the horns looked pretty alright.
They looked cool, but like they look like plastic.
Oh yeah. His hooves were nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Ridley Scott drew most of his inspiration for Legend from the 1946 version of Beauty and the Beast, as well as other Disney movies such as Snow White, Fantasia, and Bambi.
I see the influence.
Yeah. It's an odd place to draw influence
like when
from.
an animal gets killed.
Oh yeah. The face of Goblin Blix, which is that main one with like the pointy nose and like the big ears, the one that's shooting the unicorn horn around, the leader of the goblins, was designed after that of Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones.
That's fucked up.
I misread that when I found it. I thought it said it was designed by him.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they like, did someone ask the...
I don't think so. I think they're like, let's make it look like Keith Richards. Giant pointy ears, a huge nose, gross skin. Composer Jerry Goldsmith's original score was removed by the studio after the first round of test screenings in an effort to appeal to the kids, air quotes. Executives commissioned Tangerine
Dream?
Yep. When did I talk about them last? What movie was it?
Yeah.
It was another Tom Cruise movie.
Not losing it.
Was it Risky Business?
Oh yeah, I think it was Risky Business.
Because I like saying their name.
Yeah, it's a nice name.
So let's go ahead and say it was Risky Business that Tangerine... Yeah, because it was like that techno, like synth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
this had a good soundtrack.
Yeah. So Tangerine Dream did the replacement. Until 2002, Goldsmith's original score was only heard with the film's European release. Here we go. Mia Sara, born in 1967, was 16 in 1984 when the production of the film began. She played Lily,
Who's Lily?
the princess.
Oh.
But it took it took a further 3 years before Legend was finally completed. So don't worry, guys. She was legal, probably.
Mm-hmm.
When she was wearing that weird, evil costume that revealed her breasts.
That scene in general was weird as fuck.
Uh-huh. I have some theories about that scene. You know, because I took an intro to film class, so I know when I spot some symbolism. Okay, tell me what you think about these roles for Jack, or these actors who were considered for Jack. Johnny Depp. I think this would have been like one of his earlier films, because his first, I think, film was Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was around this time. He was considered. Oh, in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Was he the dude that?
He's the guy who gets hung in the in the jail cell.
Oh.
Oh no, is he? No, he's either him or the boyfriend of Nancy, who gets sucked into the bed,
and then he like gushes out. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
I think it's him, actually.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. And Jim Carrey.
Oh, that would have been cool. Just like a really wacky.
Yeah, he's talking out his ass like Ace Ventura.
Maybe he could have been was that a boy? Or was that a
who? Una?
No,
the little elf boy.
Because he has the voice of like a smoker,
but the body of a 12-year-old.
Yeah, so like,
and the ears of Keith Richards. Hey, you don't have to worry about it. He's some sort of forest imp.
Yeah. Maybe their kind lives like centuries.
I think so, because there's like 3 different endings to this movie.
What?
And I think one of them, it's revealed that Tom Cruise's character of Jack is actually an immortal being.
Mm-hmm. And is Lily just a human?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or
whatever race, generic.
Wow, Saul. It's 2019. This is a fun one that became very noticeable after I read it. Jack's armor, you know, the one he finds in that weird treasure cave that like has the plates.
Yeah, did I fall asleep? Because like they just find it out of nowhere. Like
I don't know where the fuck they got that cave from.
Yeah, they just suddenly they're there and like, all right, go get that shit. We're gonna need it.
That armor was made out of flattened bottle caps.
Wow.
You can really notice it when it gets close up. I was like, is that true? But you can see like the little like rings around.
Oh, that'd be cool though if it was like kind of a like Adventure Time where it's like post-apocalyptic.
Oh yeah.
It's like this is an ancient relic from there's a tag on it that says cosplay.
Cosplay? William Hjortsberg. His first draft, had Princess Lili slowly transform into a clawed and fur-covered beast who is whipped and sexually seduced by the antagonist, who at this point was not called the Lord of Darkness, but instead...
Satan.
No.
Oh.
Baron Cure de Noir in this draft.
Why is he French? In a fantasy world.
Yeah, everybody knows the only accent in fantasy worlds is English, or is British.
Mm-hmm.
The Legend lost, or I'm sorry, it's just called Legend, lost to The Fly in the 1986 Oscars for Best Makeup. Are you familiar with that movie?
I've heard of it.
Here, I have a photo right here that I saved specially for you. There you go.
Ew. But yeah, that's a pretty good.
Really?
Makeup.
That's actually the 1958 version.
Oh. I mean,
I wanted to see if you're like, what the fuck is that? The Fly, 1985. This is the Cronenberg Jeff Goldblum film.
I was gonna say that looks cooler than like the elves, but then I remember that ugly ass girl.
There you go.
What was her name?
Oh, the water hag?
Meg?
Oh, yeah, Meg Muckle something. That's what it lost to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
And then his
Jesus.
eyes, like, goop out.
Yeah, that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I ate before I... Oh, speaking of, I was eating when I was watching this movie.
Yeah?
And then I got to the scene with Meg, and I was like, oh, I just lost my appetite. Even though Jack was like...
Charming
really...
her. Alright, so that's the last fact I have about Legend. So let's go right into the discussion. Legend takes place in some sort of fantasy world, maybe Earth. We really don't see a whole lot of what the world looks like aside from a giant forest.
Yeah.
And a giant tree surrounded by a large mire populated with water hags.
I think there's like 3 or 4 sets in total. But I will say...
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, especially the first one. Like that.
Oh yeah, that
looks
giant
dope.
forest. They had to completely redo all the audio afterward
Really?
because it was just so loud in there with all those fucking animals and everything. But the film opens up on a dark, spooky forest goblin, while the Lord of Darkness hotboxes in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel a presence, force I have forgotten.
I thought of Star Wars.
Me too.
I'm like, is he gonna quote?
Tim Curry, aka Darkness, orders his goblins to find something that has to do with unicorns. They don't tell you right away. They want the audience to learn alongside the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's a unicorn horn.
Yeah.
He wants to kill the unicorns because they're the guardians of light or something.
Or like, they keep the light.
It's very ambiguous as to what the unicorns do exactly. Just know that they do something.
And there's only 2 of them left, right? You think it wouldn't be that hard to just kill those? Kill them.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He has like he probably has a whole army of like those little goblin dudes.
Except we only see 3 of them.
Yeah.
And some giant butchers, some orc butchers or something.
Oh,
yeah, his minions. He talks a lot. He talks them up, but you really don't see him.
Yeah.
I was imagining like fucking like Lord of the Rings, like the orc army or something. Nope. Just 3 goblins, one of which is actually a dwarf in disguise or something.
Oh yeah,
that was weird.
They didn't really explain. He just said that he just
went on an adventure.
Yeah, he got in with the wrong crowd, and he couldn't get out. He's like, oh shit, they think I'm one of them.
Oh, and then he says they're going to use innocence as bait. Is that?
I guess that's like.
Is that the unicorns? Is that Lily?
I guess that's Lily.
Yeah. Because she's the dumbass who wanted to touch a unicorn and ruin the world.
Damn furries. Oh, that would make sense if she was if she got turned into.
Oh my god! Just imagine. I was reading online about what people had to say about this movie, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, evil Lily is the reason I'm into hot goth chicks." Just imagine if she was a hot goth werewolf.
You're right.
Oh my god.
There's always that one Dracula movie with there's a scene with the wolf form of Dracula. You've never seen it?
Which one?
Bram's.
Oh, with Gary Oldman?
I think so.
From like the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's been a while. I don't really remember that.
There's like a scene where I think it's the opening.
Oh, really? Actually, I'm not going to look it up. You explain it to me.
Basically, it's I forgot the names of the characters, but like the main girl finds her friend just like out in the open, like in the.
Oh, she's out like in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
Yeah. I feel like that would have.
Please continue to explain to the audience who might not have seen Bram Stoker's Dracula.
So basically, she finds her friend just getting it on with like a werewolf, who is also Dracula.
Because in the myth, they can usually turn into wolves and bats and mist.
You just shapeshift.
Yeah.
In general.
He's like, I'll be a wolf now. I'll have my weird red dick.
So that's what a red rocket is?
You learn something new every day. Anyway, it hard cuts from the Lord of Darkness to an innocent young girl frolicking through a weird giant forest. And this is Princess Lili, who is apparently a princess, even though we never see this kingdom that she always talks about.
Yeah. Maybe she's just pretending.
For some reason, she screws up this woman's clothes line for no reason.
Yeah.
And then she breaks and enters into their house and just stares at their clock.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like...
takes their food.
Mm-hmm. But it's okay, because the woman kind of knows her or something. And everybody rhymes, I noticed. There's a lot of rhyming before the frost took over.
Those little goblins also.
Mm-hmm, they love rhyming.
Yeah.
It
got annoying after a while.
Let's see. Lili talks about finding a man with the woman before she pieces out. I don't really remember that. Oh, she's talking about going... She's the woman in the cabin, her name is Nell or something.
Yeah.
And I guess she's talking about going to meet Jack out in the woods.
I think she,
Oh, no, she was talking about getting married?
Yeah, so, like, she asked her, like, why she was still, like, hanging out with them because she's a princess and she should be looking for a dude by now. And, I forget what happens.
Yes, anyway, she talks to this woman. The woman isn't important. We go back to her cabin later to, like, realize the horror that Lili has committed.
Yeah, if they're dead, that's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they're dead.
You don't see them after.
No.
After everything goes
in
back to normal.
this film, it's supposed to be a dark fantasy. I feel like it could have been darker, but...
I think a frozen baby in the carriage is pretty dark.
I think it could have been darker if one of the goblins, like, tried to...
baby.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, pet it or something, like, ripped off a finger.
Oh.
And then ate it. Or, like, they took it for later, and then you see them... Let's stop this conversation right now. So, Lili makes her way out into the forest, and I guess the goblins and Pig Chewbacca follow her as she calls out for Jack, which reminded me of the press X for Jason from Heavy Rain. You know? Are you familiar with that game?
Yeah.
It's, so you have a boy, and you go to the mall, and he goes, you buy him a balloon or some shit, and then he gets lost in the crowd, so you have to look for him, and the only prompt on the screen is to press X for Jason, and every time you do, the character just shouts, Jason!
Oh.
Just over and over. There's some pretty hilarious videos on the internet, Saul.
I see.
Especially when the game glitches out, and that's the only dialogue he says for the rest of the game. Then she finds Tom Cruise, aka Jack, and he's like a wild boy or something who looks like Tarzan, kind of.
Yeah, he acted like it too at the start.
And he has a weird bob cut that curls perfectly to the edges of his mouth.
Just doing this whole movie.
Okay, I don't mean to sound harsh, but did you notice his teeth?
I don't think I did.
Tom Cruise, everybody talks about his teeth. There's a reason. It's because one of them, a tooth is directly center in his face.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the two are centered. It's just the one is centered perfectly.
Yeah.
I noticed it like majorly in this movie. Maybe it was just the dramatic close-ups.
Yeah, they do that every minute.
So Jack does like a full 3 or 4 spin front flip somehow. I guess it's from his practice during The Outsiders.
There's no car to get in the way this
time. And then it cuts to them just chilling in the forest talking, and Jack's petting a fox.
Oh, yeah.
And Lili asks Jack to teach her rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that sex?
I think it's like how to sound like one or to call one.
Oh, maybe. That's that makes more sense for this weird fantasy world. Then Jack blindfolds her and he's like, "I got a surprise for you."
Open wide.
And he leads her through the forest to watch a lake. But then some motherfucking unicorns appear. And she's like, "Oh, Jack, they're the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I've never seen an unicorn before." And Jack tells her that apparently as long as they roam the earth, they being the unicorn, evil cannot harm the pure of heart.
Which, I think is a little bullshit.
Why? Please do go on.
Because I'm pretty sure that the Lord of Darkness, like, backhanded her later on. That looked like it hurt.
Oh, yeah. She was out for a while.
But I'm skipping too ahead.
Then Lili, disobeying Jack, runs to the unicorns, and Jack, terrified for his life or something, begs her not to. Then
it looked like he thought like someone was gonna smite her from the sky.
Yeah.
He's like,
he says he's like, it's something about her mortal soul is in danger.
Yeah. Yeah,
so clearly these unicorns have some sort of like religious aspect in this world.
Mm-hmm.
The unicorn charges her and just freaks the fuck out because it's a horse.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna run her over, but it like curves out of the way in the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a horrifying close-up shot of the unicorns. Did she touch them? Yeah.
Yeah.
She pets one of the. Is that before or after they freak out? Because doesn't one of them
after, and then they like calm down a bit.
Yeah, and then
she sings again.
Oh, she does a lot of singing.
Mm.
It's not bad singing.
It's just
like,
weird
why?
Singing. Yeah.
And she like apparently she always sings for Jack, which makes me question his mental state. Then the minions of darkness poach the unicorns, and they like shoot one of them with like a poison dart or something, and they both freak out and they run away.
Yeah.
Jack tells her that what she did is forbidden, and it intercuts between them talking, Lili singing, and the unicorns being chased by the poachers.
Yeah. And he like forgives her like right away.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, sorry."
Well, yeah, because she's like, "Hey, I want to fuck." Oh no, it's because she's like, "I want to marry you, Jack, but the only way that I can marry someone is if they have this ring." And then she tosses the ring over a cliff.
And then he, without hesitating, he jumps into the lake.
And she freaks out. Like, what did you think was going to happen when you told him that you would marry him if he had that ring?
And then immediately, shit, like, goes to hell.
Because it's,
it just starts raining out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
That was weird.
It starts storming, Lili flips her shit as the unicorn is unicastrated. I like that scene. It was fucking horrifying. It was like close-up shots of like the hand raising of the goblin and like cutting off the horn. It was just crazy, like dark music.
And then it starts snowing.
Yeah, it's Fimbulwinter, which is from Norse mythology. It's
Oh, if that one dude dies.
Yes. It's if the, I can't remember, I haven't read it in a while. It's if the wolves that are chasing the sun and the moon, I think, if they eat the sun and the moon, and after Balder the Brave dies, then Fimbulwinter starts, which is just 3 winters consecutively, and then it's the end of the world.
Oh.
Let's see.
I only know that because we got a war.
Because goodness and happiness has died with that one unicorn, everything is now frozen, and Jack gets trapped under the ice, but it's really not that big of a deal because he breaks out almost immediately.
Yeah.
Then Lili runs away and she hides in like Nell's like attic or something, or somewhere in the house. And the goblins just rock up for whatever reason. Like,
how did they know she was there? Or like,
I don't think they did. I think they were just like, "Hey, look, a house."
Yeah.
Blix, the leader of the goblin posse, uses weird alicorn magic. Do you know what an alicorn is?
No.
It's the term for a unicorn horn.
Oh.
And it's not for this movie because it has a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it.
Oh.
And she just, I don't know why, I guess it's a she. She wrecks the place for whatever reason, and they're eating all the food, and they look at the frozen baby.
Yeah.
And,
Popsicle.
Oh, what?
Popsicle.
A,
Yeah, I try to think of a pun too.
I was about to say popsicle, but that doesn't really work. Does Una show up to Lily? Or no, she shows up to Jack because he's like he's dead and freezing to death.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happens when you only have like a little
tiny
grass
clothing
tunic and like a thong
and little booties.
Yeah.
Jack is discovered by a little elf boy named Gump, and Gump calls Jack out for taking Lily to the unicorns. He's like, "Well, you're a dipshit. Why'd you do that?" And then he says, "Squawk, squawk, no more talk." Let's see. Oh yeah, and so then at the house, the goblins leave and Lily's fine or something. Where does she go? Did she just run off into the forest?
Yeah, she
You think she'd go home?
Yeah. She'd be like, you know what? I think this place is a little
go.
beyond saving. I'm just gonna go.
Gump then asks Jack a riddle, which is, what is a bell that does not ring, yet its knell makes the angels sing?
I didn't get that. Even when he said the answer.
I couldn't understand the answer. I had to look it up. Jack, do you remember what the answer is?
Some sort of flower?
It's bluebells.
Bluebells?
Yeah. And then he's like, an answer or a riddle with an open answer is something, something, something. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Who the fuck knows? All that you need to know is that Jack passed the riddle and Gump gets pissed.
Yeah, he flips his shit. I thought he was gonna blow up.
I thought he died. He was like, I imbue you with my power.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, then we wouldn't have to look at a little boy half naked for the rest of the film with Keith Richard ears.
And like some other person's voice. I don't think
it's what is it? It's so fucking convoluted, the voice acting in this movie.
Really?
Because what is it? The woman who voices Blix also voices
Blix is
the leader of the goblins.
Oh, okay.
She voices, it's a she. She voices what is I think oh no, okay. So she was originally going to voice both Blix and Gump. Maybe. But she sounded too German. So they got someone else to do the voice of Gump, I think.
Oh. So that's why it sounds like it's not him?
Well, yeah. It's clear that they just had the little boy say the lines and then overdubbed them.
Yeah.
But I feel like they might have done that twice.
Maybe the little boy sounded German? What was his name? Like the actor's name?
I think it's David Bennett, or maybe that's the guy who did the voice. Who fuck knows? It's not important.
Oh well.
Oh well, it was 1985. What are you gonna do? So Jack and the elves and two dwarves, for some reason, they set off on a quest to save the last unicorn and undo the endless winter. They immediately find the unicorn.
Yeah.
Jack apologizes to it. He also somehow got a giant fur cloak.
Oh yeah.
And then Jack is then he's told to become the champion of good and light or something. And then they find the trove of armors. So apparently there's not a lot in between if I just wrote that immediately after this.
Yeah, so is the unicorn with the broken horn
that one's dead.
Oh, it's dead?
Yeah, because it's lying dead in the forest. And like the other unicorn is standing around just looking at the dead body. It's like when an elephant dies.
Yeah.
And that's where they find it at. And
so what would getting the horn back do? They just like tape it on, but it's still dead.
I think defeating the Lord of Darkness undid everything.
Huh.
I don't fucking know. I don't think Ridley Scott or William Hjortberg knew.
I'm gonna ask him. Does he have a Twitter?
Oh man, we need to tweet him. Everybody listening to this podcast, please go tweet both Ridley Scott and William Hjortberg if he has a Twitter. And ask, what was the question? How do they revive the unicorn?
Yeah. Oh, just how is the unicorn still dead?
Well, it's not though, because it comes back at the end.
Oh, really?
So ask them, how the unicorn in Legend from 1985 was revived, and if it had anything to do with the horn.
Yeah, and is the baby still dead?
Yeah. So ask him all of those things. I want him to get angry with us. So yeah, they get the armor of bottle caps. And
that's a cool name for it.
Armor of bottle caps. That's the name of my garage band.
Bottle armor.
Ball. What happens after they get the armor?
They like immediately go to that. Not the. I forgot what it's called.
I have right here that Una pulls a Mystique in X-Men 3, and says that she can turn into anything Jack desires. Which is similar to in X-Men 3, where Mystique goes into Logan's tent, and she like turns into Jean Grey, and she's like, "You want me to be Jean?" I assume she could make herself another person, except that person is naked, right?
Probably.
Like, she's naked all the time anyway.
It's like a thing fairies can do in some stories. It's called glamour, where they just...
Oh.
It's like an illusion.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I think he even says it. He's like, "Your fairy glamour won't fool me."
Oh, I thought he was just talking about
Those
her looks.
boobs aren't real.
Are you legal? That skirt is way too short if you aren't. She had a very short skirt. Like, shorter than Tinkerbell's.
Yeah. So did Gump. Like, can you please cover the little boy up?
Can you please cover your walnuts, Lump? Or Gump?
Lump. I hope there's no lump. He's too young.
That's the name of his cousin. We don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Oh God! Just imagine.
He should have given the coat to him. It's like 12 degrees outside, and he hogs it for himself.
Well, yeah, Gump is a forest elf or something. I don't think he really cares about the weather. Whereas True. Jack will freeze to death if he doesn't have that.
True. What were we talking about?
I was going to say, just imagine the adventure that his cousin Lump went on at the same time. That's what we should do. We should finance and make
a sequel?
A spin-off to this that happens concurrently with this movie about Gump's cousin Lump finding another forest boy and going on an adventure. It doesn't end well. Where the fuck were we?
So they leave the cave, and they just immediately go to. I was trying to think of what it's called, but it's I don't even know what.
The giant tree.
Yeah, the giant tree.
No, because they still. Oh, they go to they just set up camp, I think.
Oh yeah.
They set up camp, and then the goblins are fucking around with the unicorn horn in a cave. Yeah. This was a very confusing scene for me. Mm-hmm. Was that darkness that just randomly shows up out of a pit?
Yeah.
Because, so, Blake's the main goblin, was fucking around with the unicorn horn. She drops it because she gets scared that darkness is there. And then, the dude's name is Blunder, the dwarf in disguise. Mm-hmm. He picks it up and he's like, "I am the mightiest goblin of all!" Mm-hmm. And then this other dude, in full black armor, shows up and tosses him down of a pit.
Yeah. Maybe they were, right at the outside of the dude's lair.
Oh, yeah, because he shows up.
He hears some of his goons just
just
being loud as fuck. He's like, "Well, I guess they found it. They found the horn."
But yeah, whatever. And then he tells them that the other unicorn is still alive, and as long as it's alive, his power isn't complete.
Yeah.
So he orders them to go after the other one.
If he could go outside to chuck that little elf.
Was that him, though? I thought that was another person, because I looked, and I'm pretty sure that Darkness is standing in the corner, and then there's just a tall man in a black suit.
That's weird.
Who throws him in the pit.
Because I was going to say, if he can go outside, why not just do all this himself?
Well, why would he when he has the minions? Look, when you're the boss, you don't do shit yourself. Meanwhile, Bomber, the dwarf, which is not his name, that's the name of the dwarf from The Hobbit who looks exactly like this dwarf. he's chilling with the unicorn while the others go off and do whatever the fuck.
Oh, I liked him.
Yeah, he was all right. He was fun. I liked him more than his weird brother.
Yeah.
And then Lili shows up. Oh, that's right, because Lili, she somehow is also in that cave with the goblins. And I guess they follow her? They chase her or something?
Isn't that later?
Is it?
Because they, like, run away from the goblins. Because they're attacking the unicorn. Well,
that's because Lili shows up at the camp. Yeah, and the goblins are behind her, so I sort of assume that they just followed her.
Yeah.
This movie is all her fault.
It is.
The goblins find them and kill the little dwarf bomber. Just kidding, they shot his...
wine bottle that's shaped like a hat?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, this is a dark movie. They just killed one of the characters.
I didn't think he was dead at all, because, just because, like, they showed the little bottle.
I completely forgot about that. I was like, oh my god, he got shot in the skull with an arrow.
If he had died, that would have been funny, though, because he's like, oh, you got me.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, talking mad shit earlier when he's, like,
he's, like, blocking arrows and shit.
He must be really good at PUBG. Because of the frying pan.
I've never played that game. I have no idea.
So in that game, you can equip, just like...
Oh yeah, doesn't it like block bullets if you wear it on your back or something?
In that exact spot, you're basically bulletproof.
That makes sense. That's how it works in real life.
Yeah.
Try it, kids. We're not liable for anything that happens. So yeah, he's alive, and then the goblins, they catch Lili and the unicorn in a giant net. And then we cut to Jack and pals arriving at a giant tree surrounded by an even more giant swamp. And they're attacked by a water hag. And then and Bomber has another close to death experience. Or near death experience. I was like, this time he's dead. Nope.
Like in Ice Age, that one, what was it? He's like a rat.
Oh, Scrat? The little acorn guy?
No. There's like some. Oh, I think he's like a weasel.
The possums.
Yeah, the possum.
Who hang out with Queen Latifah.
Yeah. Later, I think it's like in the third movie, they like meet this one like badass rodent dude.
Oh yeah.
And then he's telling like these like fantastical stories about his adventures. And then how he like fell into a volcano or something, and they're like, "Did you die?" And he's like, "Sadly, yes, but I lived." That's basically that dude.
Even has the same hair color. But yeah, they're attacked by this gross and just cool looking water hag. That was a cool looking costume. That was amazing.
That was good.
Made
me puke.
I was aroused.
Well, Jack did say she was really beautiful.
Yeah, he does charm her very well. And he's like, what does he do with his shield?
He's like, before you eat me, wouldn't you want to look at your reflection in the shield? I thought he was pulling a Medusa.
Me too.
Yeah.
But then he said something about like, don't you want to eat your reflection? And then he kills her. How does she die? How do they kill her? You just stab her?
He like looks at she's distracted by her reflection, and he just like pulls out a sword and
that's right.
Cuts her head off. And that's his first kill, and he feels accomplished by it.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought he would be freaking out because he said he's never fought before.
Oh yeah, but he's very good at it, which makes you think he's lying. But yeah, that scene ends, and then the team infiltrates the bad guy palace, but. Oops, they fall into a dungeon.
What I've been trying to, like, remember what it's called is, I don't even know if it's Marvel or DC. I think it's Marvel, but it's, like, this swamp where there's, like a villain base.
Oh, it's from DC. It's the Legion of Doom.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought of
that. If only it rose out of the ground, too. It would have been perfect. Let's see. And then they find the goblin dwarf who was kidnapped because, hey, he didn't really die. And he's revealed to be an elf.
elves take no fall damage, apparently.
Then he's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. They're like murdering and eating people down there.
Yeah.
And then the orc butchers, one of them like walks away from his butchering table, which has a seemingly human body on it, whose arms and legs have all been cut off.
Yeah.
And he's like screaming in the background as he's amputated.
That was pretty dark.
That was fucked up. But then he gets found and murdered by an orc butcher, and his friends and brothers can do nothing but hide and just listen as he screams for help and is drawn away.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fucked up scene.
Yeah,
just imagine if they didn't save him later in a giant pot
yeah.
or something with live birds.
Yeah, I guess they were gonna make him into a nice little
stew.
stew.
Yeah. Then they ask Una to steal the keys for the cell. She agrees to it in return for a kiss.
Which I feel like he kind of overreacted.
Yeah, like why the fuck just do it? It's not like she's ugly like that water hag.
Yeah.
She's pretty good looking. She has like a creepy looking face when she stares at you. She doesn't seem to blink, but
Mm-hmm.
And then Una, she takes Lily's appearance. And she's like, "Kiss me, Jack. I'm Lily. Kiss me." And the fucking elves and the dwarves, I guess, are just watching on. Jack doesn't kiss her, so Una gets upset and pieces out. Just kidding. There's a lot of just kiddings. There's a lot of fake outs in this movie. A lot of subverting your expectations. She comes back with a giant pair of keys, which at first I was like, oh, is she just small because she's a fairy? No, it's just a giant set of keys.
But also, why is it important that nobody knows that she can like turn into like a adult, or not adult size, like a human sized,
a petite woman?
Yeah, like who cares?
Yeah, like
it's not like her powers go away.
Yeah, what?
She's like, no one must know.
That's right. Like, what the? Why? Maybe she doesn't want to get sexualized.
Oh, you're right. Because then they'll like start asking her, "Hey, turn into this."
Oh God. It's like what happened in my Mystique fanfiction. So the team, they free themselves and they split up and synchronize their watches.
That was so stupid. How is that a thing?
I kind of liked it, just how weird it was. What was it? It was like 18,000 flaps of a hummingbird's wings.
I think it was like 500 beats of a hummingbird's heart.
Oh yeah,
Which I'm pretty sure their hearts beat insanely fast.
Yeah,
so
not in that world. Don't worry.
That'd be like a minute.
And then there's like 18 shakes of a fox's tail.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird like snow globe-esque orb.
With little water,
yeah,
like little bubbles in it. And
it's
the other
like...
dude just had a normal stopwatch.
He's like, what's the conversion rate?
I wish he would have like looked at Grumps one and be like, "You fucking hipster."
This won't be the last time Tom Cruise has to synchronize his watch in a film.
Yeah, but there were a lot of weird like things that don't make sense because
it's just a fantasy world.
Yeah,
I like that. That was...
They like one of them jumped into the hole or something earlier and they said adios. I guess Spanish is a thing too.
Well, yeah, Mexico's there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, so meanwhile, Darkness just sits up in his bedroom talking about how in love he is with Lily, to his daddy, who is a black face
on a chair.
I think it's just a giant wall with his face on it.
Oh,
but those eyes are fucking creepy.
Yeah,
it's like it's basically just a human's eyes, except it's entirely green. Like the white is green, the irises are green, the pupils are green.
Yeah,
and they move and follow you and look around.
It made me think of Jeepers Creepers.
Oh,
those movies freaked me out as a kid.
Did you ever see the third one?
Is that the one on the bus?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah, that might be the first one.
Yeah, I think it might be. You know who the real creeper is, though?
The
director.
Yeah. What was it? There was one I saw that was like straight to DVD.
Was it the second Jeepers Creepers?
No, I think it's like the newest one that nobody liked because it was like actually shit.
Well, yeah. Also, he went to jail for like 10 years for pedophilia.
Yeah, which like, why did he even get to make another one?
How? Well, it's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, true.
And for hashtag me too.
Yeah,
good thing he's canceled now.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, I saw it and it was like absolute trash.
The first one, it's pretty good. It has fucking Justin Long in it. And he gets murdered. Another fun horror movie with Justin Long is Tusk, which is by Kevin Smith. It's where he gets turned into a walrus. It's pretty gross. It's also it's not that great, but I enjoyed it. It's the first of a trilogy of horror movies that Kevin Smith has done based on Canada. The first is Tusk, where a man gets turned into a walrus. The second one is called Yoga Hosers, where two teenage girls who work at a convenience store fight sausage Nazis.
What? This is Canadian folklore? Or what?
Yes. And they fight because you see, underground of this town that they live in is a secret Nazi laboratory with a secret Nazi man hiding in it. And he makes little sausage Nazis.
What the fuck?
And the third one, which hasn't been released yet, and I hope to God it will be, is Moose Jaws.
I'm guessing this is just like a moose version of Jaws.
Yes! How did you figure it out?
Lucky guess. That has the same energy as like that Tire movie.
Oh, you mean Tire?
Yeah.
Which, for people who don't know, is a movie about a sentient tire that murders people. I liked Yoga Hosers because of how dumb it was and silly. I tweeted to Kevin Smith that I liked it, and he favorited the tweet.
Aw, that's nice.
Probably because most people don't say that they like it. So back to the legend. Darkness's father is talking to him, and he says that to get Lili to love him, he must, quote-unquote, woo her.
Yeah. That's
a line that this evil black face says. I guess it's like The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
They go under the covers and... I just have here that he's just a stone black face and creepy green eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that darkness must make her one of them.
Yeah. Which, you feel like he would know it wouldn't work because
he's a wall.
Pure of, that and that she's pure of heart. So I feel like you can't really do that to. That's like the one person you can't do it to.
The only innocent, like, do it, Jack.
Yeah, put him in that dress. He's probably wearing less normally.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dress is more covered. Meanwhile, Lili is just trapped within this giant labyrinth castle place.
It's a miracle she hasn't died yet.
I know, she's like running through like spike walls and like flame traps.
She runs like she's frolicking.
Yeah, that's how she always runs. It's also in slow motion.
I thought Una was gonna try to kill her and then like transform herself into her.
Oh my god, that would have been
cool.
We don't know if it. Oh no, I guess we do know that it didn't happen. If we'd never seen Una again for the rest of the movie.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, fan edit. So yeah, Una just like follows her for some reason, and then Lili finds herself at a giant fireplace. And I expected Darkness to be lying there like David in Endless Love, wearing like tighty whities, his socks, and a wristwatch. And then Darkness's mom comes to like the stairs and watches him. Go listen to our first episode of the Cruising Altitude where we talk about Endless Love.
A classic.
A cult classic. No, not even a cult classic. It is just a genre classic. A classic.
Mm-hmm. What genre was it again? Romantic? Drama?
Teen romance? I don't know.
Murder mystery.
And there's no mystery.
Yes, all David.
So Lily she finds like this weird table with all this like jewelry and stuff on it. Not suspicious at all in this hellscape castle. And she grabs like a necklace or something.
Yeah, what a gold digger. She just like is entranced by all the jewelry.
She's like, ooh, pretty.
Yeah.
Then a scene I like is where a dress comes to life and dances on its own volition while a creepy cherub statue with a demon face watches it.
Yeah. I thought...
And like weird terrifying like string music plays.
I understood that scene, you know, it's just like obviously she was gonna like stop dancing and she'd be like suddenly wearing it. But it just, I don't know, it was really creepy. I think like if they had somehow figured out how to like not have the head be visible.
Oh yeah, the clearly like female dancer in a black spandex suit. I was like, oh, that's cool. Is that dress? Oh no, wait, there's arms.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think with their budget and all that they spent, they could handle to do that.
I'm pretty sure they spent the whole thing on that one forest.
And Tim Curry.
Yeah, but to be fair, it did look nice.
Yeah, they got their money's worth. I think, since I took a intro to film class, that the dance scene symbolizes rape. Because originally Lily was gonna be raped.
Oh.
There was gonna be a rape scene that was cut out of this film. And it may have been this. Because Lily fights and dances with the dress and like tries to like keep up with it and keep it away until she just gives up and lets the change happen.
Oh.
And she becomes Evilly.
Evilly.
Then darkness comes out of a mirror, and it's not that bad of effect. I liked it.
Oh, you should have said Bizarro Lily.
Not because she doesn't have the goatee and she doesn't speak backwards. As we know, that's what Bizarro Superman does. He's like, you am hero, which means I am. No, wait, he'd be, you know.
When you said talk backwards, I thought you meant like Zatanna.
Oh, I guess that means Bizarro Zatanna
talks normally.
Yeah, but no, she speaks backwards all the time, except for when she casts magic, in which she just normally says it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the darkness. I just have here. Darkness is so good. I really love Tim Curry in this movie. He was excellent.
I looked up the movie on Google Images, and there was one of Tim Curry in costume, and he looks like he's having fun. He's just like posing like happily. Yeah,
he was having a great time. Back to the rape allegory. It's either rape or sex. Loss of innocence after she touches a unicorn. Unicorn, obviously, we all know, equals purity. Purity equals virginity. And darkness says, even now, the evil seed of what you have done germinates within you.
Oh yeah, that was a very poor choice of words.
Especially when you're like me and you've taken a film intro class. But yeah, he just sort of talks to her and he's like, I love you!
Did you pass it? The class?
Yes. I wasn't kicked out because all my stuff had to do with sexual symbolism.
But yeah, he's a creep. He like fell in love with her right away.
I think he was already in love with her. I feel like he's been grooming. Oh God, no. He's Hollywood, and she is an actress. Meanwhile, Jack and his friends. Okay, real quick. So, Jack.
Yes.
He doesn't do a lot in this movie.
Not really. It was basically all Grump.
Gump.
Hey,
I'm Gump. I'm not so Gump. I read Roger Ebert's review of this film. He's a famous film critic.
Oh.
He had this TV series called Siskel and Ebert, where he and this other film reviewer just reviewed movies every week. He's like one of the most widely regarded American film reviewers, Saul. It's okay, you don't know him. But anyway, he was saying that anybody could have been casted as Jack. It did not have to be Tom Cruise. It could have been literally anybody because Jack does nothing.
Yeah?
He's a very passive character.
Because Lily's the one that lets the unicorns out.
Mm-hmm.
And also fucks them over, so you know.
Yeah, and Gump,
She gets
they could have done that on their own.
Yeah, they could have done everything on their own.
Well, I guess they needed a champion who was larger than a 12-year-old boy.
I guess they were all too like...
They could have got Jim Carrey.
But yeah, like the only thing that you could say he needed to be there for is just to wear the armor and pick up the sword. They could have all like did it. Like
yeah, they could have hopped on each other's shoulders.
Yeah. like they also put a trench coat in there. In the cave.
A gold bottle cap encrusted trench coat. So anyway, Jack and his friends just listen outside the door to the Darkness's bedroom, and they learn that sunlight is the only thing that can destroy him. Also, there's a B plot that involves the two dwarves just doing a mine shaft exploration. So I think they're trying to find the unicorn or something. But then Jack has a plan to make a giant disco ball. What did they do?
I'm glad that they did what I thought they were gonna do.
What?
So basically, Jack, for some reason, he thinks of like when Lily was like dangling a little necklace.
Oh yeah,
like to him. I don't know why
the glare gets in his eyes.
Yeah, but basically, his plan is to just make a billion mirrors that lead up all the way to the entrance of the the lair.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just like go into the kitchen, raid the kitchen, and just get like these giant plates.
Yeah.
And that's the plan.
Mm-hmm. They save that one elf dwarf from being cooked alive, and it's not as crazy as it sounds, folks. Seriously, that scene could have easily been cut.
Yeah.
But that's what you get with the director's cut.
What was I gonna say? That when they defeated them, and they're like, hip hip hooray! Like,
oh yeah,
that impressive.
What was that fight? What happened? So while they're sneaking around the kitchen, the orc butcher chefs, they're sleeping or something
on the table.
Yeah, next to the dead body.
Oh yeah, that was the same.
That's the same dead body.
He's just like snuggling with it.
It's like a pillow pet. They wake up and then they start fighting, and then steam erupts, and they die.
I think
they're like, "You did it, Jack!"
I think they like Jack emptied the big ass cauldron on one of them.
Oh, I thought he hit like a pipe.
Yeah, he boiled him alive, I guess.
Good job, Jack! You did it!
The dude's just like screaming on the floor still. No one puts it out of his misery.
We gotta go stop evil!
No time to put him out.
It's okay though, he's an orc! Yeah. It's a terrible fight scene.
Yeah.
I thought he just smashed one of the many steam pipes that go through this whole complex.
Mm-hmm.
But who cares? Blah, blah, blah. They fight. Then they have to crawl out of this giant, like, tunnel that leads up into the light or something.
Oh, yeah.
Into, like, the top of this tree mountain. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. They do that. And then Darkness, meanwhile, he continues to hit on Evilly. and she says that she'll never marry him because he killed her dreams or something. Which maybe she would have married him otherwise. Mm-hmm. If he had been a normal guy. He's like a nice guy. He's like Thanos from the comics.
Yeah, maybe if he hadn't made like...
the world end?
Yeah.
Let's see. Have you seen this one film? I think it's with Craig Robinson and Anna Kendrick. It's about after Rapture happens. Oh. And I'm pretty sure you know who Craig Robinson is? He's a sort of fattish black man. He was on The Office.
Oh.
He played Daryl.
Yeah.
He was also in Hot Tub Time Machine. And he plays like the Antichrist.
Oh.
Who just like he chills around in like a just like a big red suit, and like he employs all the people who like got left behind on Earth, and he wants to marry Anna Kendrick, something along those lines. It's a fun movie.
I was gonna say, is this like a very? Does it take itself seriously?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's like Anna Kendrick is like, or her father is one of the Antichrist's employees.
Huh.
But anyway, back to Legend. So Darkness hits on Evilly, and yeah, she says she won't marry him, and Darkness says that dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity, and then he confesses his love for her. And Satan's kind of clingy.
Yeah. She's like, okay, we literally just met after you kidnapped me.
And put me in this weird dress. Unicorns are like, what the fuck is going on? Are we doing the sacrifice or not?
Like, I got places to be, man.
Can we get this over with? You already killed my friend.
Look, I'll do it for you. I'll just kill him right here now.
If my neck was long enough, I just stab myself with my own horn. Let's see. And then Evilly says that she will be the Darkness's if he allows her to kill the unicorn. And Darkness comes in his pants.
I thought the same thing. He like rolls his eyes.
He's like, oh.
She's like, what was that? Nothing.
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
And with the sun about to set, the gang enacts their plan. The sacrifice is about to be completed, and Darkness goes through his whole speech and everything. And Gump tells Jack to take the clear shot on Lili. Because I guess their plan is... That doesn't make sense. Why would they kill her?
Because she's the one that's gonna, like, kill the unicorn.
If they kill her, then Darkness will just do it.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Ask Ridley Scott why Gump had such a hard-on for killing Lili. But then, surprise! Lili was good all along, and she frees the unicorn. Mm-hmm. And Darkness, he doesn't.
My favorite scene.
He bitch fists her into a pillar.
Yeah.
And Jack freaks out, and he like swings down, and it's like there's a weird usage of slow motion in this fight scene. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
What did you think of the fight scene where Darkness brandishes a giant sword and it turns into Dark Souls?
Yeah, it does. Because he still, like, he can also use magic with it.
I guess.
Jack should have fucking died right there.
Yeah. And fucking Gump is just loading Darkness's the back of his head with arrows.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't even notice. By the end of the fight, he has like 4 arrows in him, one of which is jutting through his throat.
He didn't react at all to him. Gump's like level 1. Jack took all the XP when he killed Meg. And...
Oh, this isn't one of where you share the XP.
No.
Also, the unicorn horn, the alicorn, I don't know what the fuck happens to it. It just falls in some yellow water?
I thought he just ran away.
No, the horn.
Oh, yeah, the horn. Oh, yeah. I thought it was lava. And when he,
Me too, when he dips his hand in.
Yeah.
No, it's just yellow water. It's just piss.
The unicorn was scared, okay? Don't worry, though. It's magic piss.
So you can drink it.
But yeah, I thought... Did he do anything with the horn?
Oh, that's how the horn got there. It's because Lili was going to stab the unicorn to death with it.
Oh, yeah.
And then when she got flung into the sky, I guess it flew away or something. What were you going to say?
I thought he was... He doesn't do anything with it, right? He, tries to use it, and then he just,
Actually...
He gets slapped out of him or something?
He stabs the Darkness in the abdomen.
Oh, right.
Which is obviously a Jesus allegory.
Or driving a stake through a vampire.
Oh, I guess that too. But it wasn't. He was Jesus was stabbed right here, somewhere below his ribs.
But yeah, I was looking forward to some magic,
Apparently, in the original script, the Darkness was gonna grow giant bat wings and fly around. That would have been cool.
I guess.
I mean, Yeah, the fight's all right. It's
I
just
feel like you would have been able to see the strings with how much budget they had left.
It takes 16 men to lift Tim Curry in his full costume through the air.
I will say that when Lily's in like that chamber or whatever, and like he comes out of the mirror, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
At first, because she has like those giant, like the giant like neck piece or something. I don't know what you call that. It's like her collar has been popped up. I thought his hand was coming out like through that.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but it was because it was a reflection.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, he was coming out of that dress.
What are you doing in my dress?
Yeah, so he gets stabbed, and then I guess the pureness of the unicorn horn kills him or something, and he tells Jack that they are brothers eternal, which I feel like is a leftover from when Jack was originally going to be an immortal person.
Oh, that's true.
So,
did he die though? Because
it didn't he's banished. Darkness, he gets banished into space, and then he flies away, and
then he blows up.
He explodes into 5 stars, which I guess is because of pentagram. But who the fuck knows? His essence
was gonna be like in Pokemon where Team Rocket just blasts off.
It's just like a glare.
Yeah. But I don't think like if that random portal to space hadn't been there, I don't think they would have won.
Where does it come from? Was it because good won?
It was there the whole time.
But what?
Why? Yeah, because like when the movie opens and it's like that monologue of like darkness and light and whatever.
Look, it was a long movie. I don't really remember that.
But yeah, you saw it there. But like, why? Why does he? It's like the thing that can banish him. Why would he keep it? Plug it up, you dumbass.
Just hammer some 2x4 over it. Board it up.
Yeah.
Break it.
It reminded me of in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku's fucking dead, so his son has to like watch over the Earth for a little while. There's this one demon that like comes back from like the nether realm.
Oh yeah, that's right, because they're like angels and demons or something, right?
Yeah.
That was the original plan.
And I think it's called the Dead Zone. And so he like towards the end he like powers up and he's like basically unkillable.
The demon?
Except for if you can throw him in the dead zone. And so he gets like tired of not being able to like beat the good guys, so he opens up the dead zone, the one thing that can defeat him, because he wants to suck them in. But then they just like kick him inside and he's like, oh wait, that's the thing that could have killed me. Why did I do that?
But yeah, hey, goodness won.
Yay.
Who could have seen that coming? Then Jack and Gump go over to Evili, and she's fucking dead.
That was and then randomly he says that she's cursed.
Oh yeah,
it's like I think she's just in a coma from being like knocked into the next.
That
week.
Is a curse. That's curse. That's a curse of getting your ass kicked. Oh, and this is where I realized that the armor is obviously bottle caps.
I wonder who thought of that. Pretty sure you could have found, like, was Party City a thing? Or Walmart?
Well, you see, they don't have Walmart where this was filmed in the UK.
Oh.
They would have had to gone to Woolworths.
Is that the European version?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, that's a good way of doing armor on the cheap.
Yeah.
Just getting bottle caps and hammering them just flat.
Wonder who made that. I was like,
yeah.
Did they really not have anything else to give me?
Yeah, like you're really like the studio or someone doesn't have like chainmail or something. Yeah. You can spray paint gold. Then Jack realizes that, or no, how do they come to the conclusion that they can save her?
That was fucking random. Like
he runs all the way back to the forest.
Because Gump was like, oh, this is a powerful curse that I can't do it. It has to be you.
That's right.
And then, I don't know, for some reason that means put the ring on her.
Yeah. So Jack gets the brilliant idea that he has to strip all that armor off of him, run all. I just realized that the reason he's wearing his outfit is because they filmed it at probably around the same time that they filmed the earlier forest scenes.
That's true.
But he just runs all the way back to that same cliff that Lili threw the ring off of earlier.
By now, that would have been not there.
Yeah. Well, the water was frozen.
Oh, true.
He dives under and retrieves the fucking ring. And Tom Cruise, he's actually famous for holding his breath underwater.
Oh.
I think it's like 6 minutes.
Damn, that's good.
We'll see it once we get into whatever film that is. It's one of the Mission Impossibles, probably. Or Jack Reacher, who the fuck knows.
And with every movie so far, there was a second of Man-ass. When he's swimming.
I was looking for... Really?
Yeah.
I missed it.
You had to miss it. You had to see it. Like, it was
like frame by frame.
But yeah, that's why I said he's wearing a thong, because he basically is.
Also, continuing the tradition of every Tom Cruise film, there's that one super evil character.
Yeah.
This time, it's obviously the devil.
Not Lily.
Oh, I guess so. The devil was a good guy. Evilly. So yeah, I don't know how. Then Lily's just up in a tree somewhere, and they changed her clothes, which is weird.
Took off her makeup and which
Who undressed her? Who redressed her? Who brought her up to that tree?
Definitely not Una, because she would have like gotten the Sharpie and wrote "slut" on her forehead,
trying to like a dick on her cheek. Jack appears wearing a very Hook-esque Peter Pan outfit.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I looked up what the Peter Pan outfit from Robin Williams' Hook.
I like his hair.
It's nearly the exact same thing. Who, Robin Williams or Tom Cruise?
No, Jack.
Oh.
He like had it in a ponytail.
Oh yeah, he finally got out of that stupid bowl cut.
Was that his real hair, you think?
I read something about it. I think so, because he was upset when he had to cut it.
Oh.
Then he puts the ring on Lily's corpse, and it imbues her with life. And then she says that she loves him, and he says he loves her back.
You okay?
My Turk, my dog is freaking out. They're asleep. Turk, what's wrong, buddy? It's just a dream. It's okay. Here, have one of your toys. It's okay, buddy. Okay, anyway. My dog was having a nightmare. Let's see. Lily asked if all of that was a dream. And she's like, so many terrible things happened. I thought I loved you. Do you remember what happens next?
He's just like, don't worry about it. You probably got your friends killed, but it's okay.
I mean, do you remember what Lily does?
She makes out with him?
Oh, yeah. She does that, too. And then she takes off the ring.
Oh.
And says that he should keep it to remember her by.
She's like, you know what? This was a little too weird for me. I think I'm just going to go back. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's going home, and then she sings to him one last time and then runs away. Oh no, she's like, hey, so I guess I'll come back tomorrow, same time. And then she leaves the forest for her home.
Mm-hmm.
Air quotes.
That we never see.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they even name like what kingdom it is.
Nope.
It's just Princess Lili.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Maybe that's her first name.
Princess. Imagine though, this is just like a everyday thing. Like every day she just visits
she
Jack's.
fucks up something else.
Yeah. It just caused the end of the world on a daily basis. You would think that Nell lady would just be terrified of her. It's like, oh no, it's the devil.
Well, she doesn't have to be worried about her anymore because her whole family's dead.
Yeah. Maybe it was ice magic or magic ice.
No, it wasn't. It was they died.
Oh no.
A deer accidentally got in their cabin because the door was left open, and it got freaked out and started kicking, and it shattered her.
Oh jeez.
Just imagine what happened when she melted.
Oh.
Stunk. Anyway, Jack takes it like a champ. He's like, okay, sure.
All right.
Yeah. He's not like one of those like freaking like neckbeard guys who's like, why don't you want to be with me?
I'm nice.
You fucking bitch, you're all the same.
Or like David Axelrod, who like burns down the house.
Well, we don't see what happens next. Maybe that's where he was going at the end of the film, was to burn down her kingdom. But yeah, he watches her leave the forest, and then he makes his way through the forest and spots Gump and the others, including the revived unicorns. How did it happen, Ridley Scott? Tell us, give us answers.
We have to know.
This is journalistic integrity right now. That's what this is.
So is he on Twitter?
You should check. Yeah, and everybody waves goodbye, or they wave at Jack. They're like, bye, see you tomorrow when Lily fucks up something else. Maybe that's what happens every day. Her memory gets wiped.
Oh, shit. And she just thinks it's all a dream?
Uh-huh.
Oh, damn. Ridley Scott.
And the film ends with Jack running into the sunset. And it literally looks like he's running into the sun. The end.
Maybe he is the sun.
And that's he light versus dark.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Oh, shit.
You should have been in that intro to film class.
Oh, shit.
I dropped my tablet.
Oh, good thing I didn't crack.
That's fine. Afterthoughts.
I didn't hate it.
No.
It wasn't bad.
I enjoyed it.
I just think, like, it could have been
a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said earlier before we recorded, I enjoyed the film a lot more after the world was turned into a frozen hellscape.
Yeah. At first, like, when I saw the first set with, like, that little woodland scene, I thought it was like, damn. I was like, damn, this budget must have been, like, sky high. This is gonna be a good movie.
And boy, were you not that right.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Legend of Zelda movie?
I can see the what's the word?
Resemblance?
Yeah. You know, evil.
Ganon
is just, yeah. And then Lily is
Zelda. The fairy is literally a ball of light.
Yeah.
Gump is that giant tree in the tree face.
Oh, yeah.
There's also a giant tree.
Yeah.
Maybe that used to be Gump's house, but he got kicked out. He got evicted, and Darkness bought it.
He couldn't pay his rent.
But,
well,
yeah, he keeps buying all those fucking stupid watches.
Anything you would change?
Yes. A lot of stuff. I don't want it to be darker and less, I don't know, whimsically nice.
It was dark and whimsical at the same time.
Yeah, but I want people to die.
Yeah,
I want to see death.
They should have picked a side.
Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe if the film starts at Lily's kingdom and we follow her journey to the forest.
Like
what if it's like 10 feet away?
Like how she gets there without like alerting her guards every time.
Yeah, she's just fucking running through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tim Curry.
Yeah,
definitely keep him.
Hello.
I don't know. What would you change anything?
Yes.
Really?
Give me the rights to this movie, and I will make it a masterpiece.
You'll cast
a whole trilogy.
You'll cast Tom Cruise as Darkness.
Oh,
it's a continuation.
Yes, he was corrupted.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I would just like try to like world build a little more, because you don't know where this is.
Yeah,
what this
they
place
try
is
to.
called.
They implement way too much like fantastical elements.
Yeah, and there's so much that it doesn't like fit together.
Yeah, exactly. Lord of the Rings, it works because you learn about it as you watch the movie or read the book.
And even other fantasy things that they don't explain like exactly how, like the mechanics of things, like how does magic work.
Yeah.
But it's still
It's
like
like
you
it's
still
a
feel like it
yeah.
makes sense, you know.
This
But
is just
for
like
this
what the
one,
fuck
what
is
is
happening?
Yeah.
Also, I think this might be we're nearing the end of Tom Cruise movies based on books.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, this was based on the.
I don't believe so,
Oh,
which
okay.
is why we're nearing the end. So I don't know if he has any other ones, but it'll probably be a while before we see him.
Okay.
Here at the Cruising Altitude podcast, we have a very special rating system. It is out of a 21 possible teeth, is what we score these films.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give this movie while I bring up our movie list?
21, right?
Yeah, out of 21.
I always ask. I always try to like.
Even though I explained it right beforehand,
Yeah.
you just zone out completely.
I always try to do teeth math.
IMDb rated this at 6.5 out of 10. Higher than the last movie we watched.
What was it? It was no.
It was All the Right Moves.
Right.
Which was surprising because I feel like All the Right Moves is a better film.
Yeah, that's a better movie.
They're also two completely different genres.
Yeah, apples to oranges. But I think even like if you were to compare this
Just
movie to other fantasy movies,
mm-hmm.
they did a better job.
36% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Ooh.
30 on Metascore, and Roger Ebert gave it a 2 out of 4. Which,
I feel like that's that kind of scale is way too like polarizing. Like 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, that's
like,
what everybody talks about, his weird scoring system.
Like imagine if a rating system was 0 or 1.
Well, there's this podcast I listen to, Weekly Planet Podcast. Their rating system for films is either best movie ever or worst movie ever.
Oh, damn.
Just because the internet is a polarizing place.
I would give it 12 and 1 chipped tooth because it could have been more.
Really?
I feel like it was more and something fucked up somewhere and they just had to cut a lot of shit.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right based on what I read.
Yeah.
First right, there we go. So let me add Legend to our list. That's a Legend from 2015.
Nothing caught on fire this time. Like, no building. Except for that. The troll. He is definitely on fire.
I actually... I originally gave this a 16.
Oh.
Which is one less than I gave Risky...
I think that's a little too fair.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 13 with 2 silver-capped teeth.
Okay, that's
out of
fair.
21.
That's fair. I can respect that, I guess.
So, Saul, with our rating for Legend, where would you rate it on the list of 7 films we've watched? Risky Business is currently in first, followed by Taps, Endless Love, Outsiders, All the Right Moves, Losing It, and Legend.
First place. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so...
Is it a better movie than The Outsiders?
No.
And All the Right Moves?
Outsiders is way better.
Yeah, that's true.
See, where I'm like deciding is like, is it gonna be higher than All the Right Moves? Like,
yeah. Well, IMDb rates it higher than All the Right Moves.
Yeah, but
do we?
I feel like All the Right Moves is more complete, you know?
Yeah, it's a better.
Like,
I would rather,
even if the plot isn't really there, it still makes sense, you know?
Yeah. It's an entertaining movie. I feel like I'd rather watch All the Right Moves than Legend again.
Yeah.
That being said, I would like to watch Legend again. Not right now. Let's give it a few years for me to forget.
I wish I had seen it, the cut version first, just to like be even more lost. Like, what the fuck is happening? Who are these people?
So what do you think? Maybe at number 6, in between All the Right Moves and Losing It? That piece of shit?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's see. 6 and 7.
Know your place, trash.
So, our current ranking is Risky Business at number 1, Taps following, then Endless Love at 3, followed by The Outsiders, All the Right Moves, Legend, and Losing It, which I believe will forever be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait for next month.
It's what was I think I looked at the list, and the next month is Top Gun.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Top Gun. It is ridiculous, and I love it. Moving on. That's our reviews. Tom Cruise news. Hasn't been a whole lot. There's some stuff about Miles Teller trying to contain his excitement on the set of Top Gun 2.
Oh.
There was also, did you hear about this? Justin Bieber challenged Tom Cruise to a fight in a UFC octagon.
Did he ever respond? I only
No.
saw memes about it.
I don't think so.
I think he's just like, who is this? Why is this boy trying to fight me?
Apparently, Justin Bieber has, I guess, been training with UFC fighters, and he wants to fight Conor McGregor.
That sounds like it would turn out the same thing as what was it, Jake Paul and that one dude,
Oh, yeah.
like the YouTubers.
I heard about that.
And it just amounted to a whole lot of nothing because they tied. Because I'm pretty sure they just like
Conor McGregor would kick his ass.
yeah.
I feel like, who do you think would win? Tom Cruise, Justin Bieber? Go.
Tom Cruise, duh.
Yeah, he has that fucking, like, that rage that, like,
Energy.
would just get unleashed. He
Yeah.
has that stamina. Like, Justin Bieber, he might, like, get a few punches in at the beginning, but then Tom gets mad. And just
Yeah.
unleashes the beast. But that's all I have for news this month.
On that topic real quick, I don't know if it was like a real response, but it was like the tweet of Justin like calling him out, and then there was like a reply from Danny DeVito that says fight me instead, you coward. That's a fight I would want to see. I would pay to go to that.
Me too.
I'd be cheering Danny on.
Go right in the first row so you get Danny DeVito's sweat and blood on you.
A dream. And sell it on
You'd never
eBay.
wash your face again. That's it for cruise news this month. You can find us on iTunes. Maybe not anymore. Did you hear that they're discontinuing that?
Yeah, which I won't miss it.
Me neither.
Honestly.
I mean, I never use it aside from uploading this podcast. Apple's shit anyway. I don't like him. Steve Jobs was a prick. I'm glad he's dead. There, I said it.
Jesus. I was gonna agree on you about Apple, but
So yeah, join us next month. What will that be? June, July, August 3rd for Top Gun.
wait. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because today is July 3rd, Saul.
Yeah.
We need to come up with some sort of catchphrase to say at the end of this. Don't
Stop.
oh, here, that's what we do. We do I say a word, you say a word.
Okay.
Always
Mitsubishi.
and
Ford.
for
Everyone.
Is
this not ad-libs?
I think we need to take an improv class. As always, here at the Tom Cruise Cruising Altitude podcast, always Mitsubishi and Ford for everyone. Bye.
See ya.